Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, hi. All right. I am making sure that we're able to see everyone and we can. There we are. There we are. All right, you guys. This is Tiffany with Sensual. With
Oh,
Will.
I want my water. Yes.
And we're having some technical difficulties. So please
I
excuse
wanted
the
water.
delay in
Thank you,
getting
girl.
started. We are excited because we have a pretty juicy topic tonight that I am very excited to indulge in for the night. We have our co-host, Miss Michelle, and we have our first business spotlight of the night, Miss Brittany with Coco Yanni's Lounge. So, everyone, please let's draw your attention to Miss Brittany when she's going to tell us about her business, which I definitely feel is a good fit for tonight's topic. So, Miss Brittany, tell us who you are, tell us about your business, and all of that good stuff.
Well, good evening, everybody. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't mess up nothing. But I am my name is Brittany Haney. I'm the owner of Coco Yoni Lounge located here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are a feminine care spa. We offer yoni steaming services. We offer feminine care products. We also offer training for other businesses that may be interested in starting yoni care or V steam spas. And we basically just focus on your overall health as a woman. We steaming is something that men can do as well, but we deal with feminine care. We deal with fertility. We deal with infertility. I mean, I'm sorry, not infertility, but what is the word? I'm sorry, y'all. But basically, just improving your
Okay,
overall experience for your yoni.
take your
So if she needs some help, if she needs, a little revive, a little tightening up, we got you. That's what we do.
nice, nice. So, I know that I was introduced to you to talk about, the whole Yanni thing and the benefits of getting a steam. So, share with us what those benefits are and kind of how this came about. Because I didn't hear nothing about V steams until I was introduced to you, and then all of a sudden I was hearing it everywhere. So, where did this big deal come from about,
With
steams
steaming.
and taking care of your Yanni, even though that's not something that's new, but the whole bee steam
Right,
thing.
right.
Why did it become so popular?
So with steaming, like you said, steaming is a very old practice that's been practiced for centuries, especially in places like Africa, China, Korea, Brazil. It's only new to Western medicine over the last few years. And what it basically is just using the medicinal properties of herbs and water to help heal different ailments that go on in the body. So these statements really great for just maintaining your overall pH of the vagina, the health of your vagina, tightening. What it does is pretty much it acts as a detox and a cleanser for your body, and then you just able to release anything that you don't need, any old blood. So if anybody's dealing with like long cycles or heavy periods or heavy, I mean, not heavy, but intense menstrual pain. Bee steam is really good for
Mhm.
that. Because a lot of times that's just kind of old blood that's on the uterine walls. It's also good
Right.
for increasing your overall sexual experience. So if you are having a hard time, like, getting some blood flowing down there, or some people just don't. Some people just don't climax, and it could be a variety of different reasons. So it's really good for that. But I think it probably gained more popularity over the last couple of years just because, well, I think like the Love and Hip Hop or whatever show showed V steaming on it one time. I think that definitely had something to do with people like, oh, okay. what is this? But I just think over
Right.
time, with people not being able to get into the doctor as often, especially with COVID, people not getting able to being able to get to the gynecologist. I think more people are looking for alternative medication or alternative ways to heal themselves and treat different ailments that come up. So that to me is kind of, and then also, of course, it feels good. It's relaxing. It helps women really reconnect to themselves, take that time out for themselves. Sometimes there's stuff going on in the body people don't even have any idea until they take the time out to slow it down a little bit. So I think just a couple of different factors throughout people wanting to make sure, we live in the days of like the WAP. So I think people always want to make sure they have that intact. But yeah,
Right.
I think that's kind of how it got to be more mainstream considering it's such an old practice.
Right. Okay. So for you, what made you get into it personally?
Well, really it was a combination of a few things. Like I first stumbled upon bee steaming. I was in the middle of a separation with my ex-husband. And in all honesty, I had gone up there and had me a little birthday fun with him and then came back and a month later with some issues going on. And then I went to the doctor and this and that, and it was like, you're good, you're fine, you're this, you're that. Everything was all checked out, but my hoo-ha was not. So I reached out to a another naturopathic doctor that at that time was maybe like one of the only people that did bee staming, and we were just talking about how like some of the emotional trauma that you hold can definitely affect your vagina. And because I mean, I was just like, everybody, they're like, it's fine, you fine, ain't nothing going on. I didn't really have anything per se, um, like happening, but just
Mhm.
it just I didn't. She didn't feel like she just someone right. But that's when I really realized, like, emotions and
Right.
unresolved trauma can really play a big role in your feminine health. From bacteria infections to yeast infections, all that stuff can really play a role in how your body is responding to stressors. So that's what led me to
Okay.
V steaming was like problems with boo. And I also was interested in just offering my female clients something different that I thought could help a lot. So just those two is what kind of funneled that desire, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I definitely understand because I know that when I reached out to you, um, it was a couple of years into my marriage, but also I had a hysterectomy.
Hmm.
And so with my hysterectomy, I had some things going on that's normal for women who are for menopause that's menopausal because even though I had my hysterectomy um, in my 30s, I went into menopause like within a month, which messed with the pH and all that of the girlfriend.
Hmm.
So I know that when I came to get my B steam, not only was it relaxing and I had time to myself to really it kind of centered me, but it
Hmm.
also was an emotional dump that I was able to do and a mental dump I was able to do. So it was definitely helpful to me. And hubby realized or noticed the difference immediately. So I definitely highly recommend it. Your girl, whatever you want to call her, she will definitely thank you because it was definitely beneficial for me. Um, I sent a couple of other young ladies to you who said, "Yes,
Hmm.
girl, I got to do that
Yes,
again."
get that thing
So
together.
highly recommend steam and making sure that your girl is, ready to go and feeling good because we know when our Yanni, I'm going to say Yanni, when our
Yes.
Yanni or our girlfriend, as
When
I call
she's not
her, is
happy,
not
nothing else is happy. I agree.
right. Exactly. Nobody else is happy.
No. Happy
So,
Yanni, happy life.
yeah,
They say happy wife, happy life, but I happy Yanni, happy life.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. So, I'm gonna ask y'all, while we're getting into this subject, Brittany, what do you call your Yanni? Does she have a name?
Me personally, I didn't give her a name. Now she's had names. Like, I mean, we had like I had like Thundercat for 1 second of a that was like my ex-husband, so that was like whack name. But at the time I thought it was cute. But other than that, I don't think I have a name. She
You
I
don't have
don't
a
think she
name
can
for
get. No, I don't even try to define her. I just let her
it.
be. She can be
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
she
Well,
wants to be.
whatever she wants to be. I get it. I get it. Yeah, mine, she's kind of changed names over the years, getting older,
Yeah,
buying
it
better, all that
happens because she
stuff. So,
changes, so it
uh,
makes sense the name
yeah,
change.
right. Exactly. What about you, Michelle? Michelle is our co-host for tonight. She is our toy lady, our
Hey,
lifestyle
Michelle.
expert, all of that good stuff. So, Michelle, does your Yanni have a name?
Well, like like my friend here said, she's had a couple of names from past lovers, but
Yes.
I guess if I'm gonna
Mhm.
refer to her, I usually will use a pronoun, a she, a her.
Yes.
If I'm talking about her in the third person, my kitty, I like to call kitty. I have a kitty tattoo, so I can refer to her as a
Okay.
kitty. Um, but she goes by many names, many forms.
I like it. I like it. Whatever she's feeling at the moment. That's okay.
Mhm.
We got it. What about you, Theme? What about you, Queen? She's gonna share some poetry with us tonight. Does your Yanni have a name?
Yeah, I just want to say, hey, sorry that I could not figure this thing out, but I figured it out now. So, peace and love to y'all.
That's okay.
Um,
You're
Hey,
here. You're here now.
girl.
Yoni, I mean, I've had names in the past as well. Something that stick out to me was Hot Pocket, but like
Yeah.
I just,
Okay.
Hot pocket.
I
Hot
don't,
pocket.
Hot Pocket.
Yeah, it's
You
hot.
should hear Cedric over here like, okay. I love it. I love it. So we are glad that you're here, Miss B. I knew you were going to make it happen. We were having technical difficulties all around the board. So it's your spotlight, sweetheart. Tell us who you
Okay.
are, and let's go ahead and hear what you're going to share with us tonight.
Okay. So, peace and love, everyone. The divine in me honors the divine in all of you. I'm Fee, and I'm here to do some poetry, but I'm also a business owner of Feast Focus Jewels, where I offer handmade jewelry, waist beads, anklets, bracelets. I also do herbal blends, smokable blends, yoni steam blends, tea blends. I make candles, oils, just a little bit of everything, a little apothecary oils, and I do a lot of pop-up shops and local vendors, and I also have a website that where people can shop, and that's feesfocusjewels.com. I can be found as Conscious Universe on most social media, and my hashtag is Fees Focus. That's FEESFOCUS. Um, so I want to share with y'all
Very
tonight.
nice. Very nice.
Thank you. I have something I wrote. It's called Yin, and yeah, I want to share that with you all. So y'all can hear me pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Yep, we can hear you, baby.
Yin Yang XXXY. You're an addition to the condition of a woman. We all begin as a seed, feminine. The masculine is an addition. Starting out as an embryo, X marks the spot. Once you hit the stage of development, your Y begins its addition. Reproductive organs drop out. What is a man? Merely a pussy that fell out. Testicles, just outside ovaries, providing and nourishing the seeds that fallopians release. Yin, within a more intimate feature, vaginal walls, just an internal phallus. The magic of expansion and contracting. Yeah, that's pussy power. The energy of nurturing, receiving everything, storing and categorizing. Lunar cycles controlling the waters. Yin energy is emotion, in or out of order. Yang, yang. How I remember is the yang hangs. The energy of doing, get up, get out, action needs pursuing. Sperm swimming, semen, millions release, each ejaculation. Is it once a day, twice a day, 5 times a week, faster, faster? It's a race. Who will penetrate? Yin, an egg or two just released monthly. She sits and waits patiently for her walls to be punctured, for the sperm to release its offering. 23, 23, 46 in total numerology. That's 5 plus 5 equals 10. That's 4 plus 6 equals 10. Each reducing to 1, the number of creation. Add them all up, you get 11. Master number, manifestation, illumination coming together to infiltrate, create an abundance from substrate. Once the reaction has taken place, we now have the product of this master collaborate, a partnership that began with an egg and semen. We begin as one, the alpha and omega, yin yang. Be woke, be spoke. That's my poem for tonight.
Yes. Very
Yeah, so
nice. Very nice.
Nice.
that was my take
I
on,
love
you
it. And I
know,
knew that we would. I knew that we would.
that was my take on what, where we come from and how we really are just one, and how it starts out as that. And with my history of, I was a nurse for over 20 years as well, so a lot of my science and biology too came out. But yeah, I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Hello, we frozen?
Here.
Oh, okay. um
In our
did you
artist
want me to
spotlight, how long have
did
you
you
been doing
want another
poetry?
one? What'd you say?
Yes. Yes. We'll take one more before we get going because you are our highlight of the night. So yes, share it. Let's
Okay.
hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay. This is called Goddess. Amazing how the word woman includes man. Woman, woman, divine, feminine, nurturer, giver of life, unabashedly. She surrenders her body. She sacrifices her boundaries, receiving a download from universal energy. Through the seed that was planted long ago, she was once within the womb of another grandmother, mother, all seeds already planted, awaiting the coming of fertilization. Woman giveth of herself, nurturing, loving, receiving within. She is divine indeed, a celestial being. Her hips wide, pelvic floor coincides, ready for birthing, feeling uncertain, allowing the process of be earthing all beings. We all came through her, no matter the process. You chose her as your portal, your contract, your existence here in this realm, this earth, this dimension. You acquire a body, a damn beautiful one, shall I mention. Goddess, godless. Without her, the fertilization wouldn't progress, wouldn't commence. Fulfill within her breast the nourishment for success, human lactation, free flowing admiration for the process, for the time, for she sacrifices what she calls mine. The body she inhabits, it's so special and eventful. A monthly cycle of shedding, cleansing, and rebuilding. She cycles like the moon, that yin energy. When she is amongst other goddesses, the synchronization is commencing. Goddess energy, a conduit of personal power. Goddesses unite, a collective of power, an awakening, a self-awareness, being able to decipher defense mechanisms of dysfunctional beliefs, unweaving the patterns that were imprinted upon our minds, upon our souls, engraved in a contract that we signed blindly moving forward with intentions of another, grandmother, mother, father, family, the world. It's despairing to begin with the existence. Be woke, be spoke. Thank you. That was Goddess.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Thank you so much, guys. That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you will join our conversation that we're about to get into tonight. So stay on, please, with us, Miss
I will.
conscious, and join into the conversation, because it's gonna be pretty hot. It's gonna be pretty hot. I promise you. I promise you. Miss
Okay.
Michelle, please introduce yourself, and I'm gonna bring on the rest of our guests while you're introducing yourself.
Okay, my name is Michelle. For those of you who haven't met me before, I run an adult home party plan, Michelle's Toy Box by Intimate Dreams Parties. So lots of fun stuff, girls' nights out, couples parties. I do divorce parties, pretty much any kind of theme party, adult theme party. If you're looking for a vendor, I do vendor events. I do one-on-one consultations, so I can be your personal shopping expert if you're interested. And also host and sponsor lifestyle parties now. So been really busy this year with the kickoff of the
Yes.
lifestyle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, Miss Michelle, I met her. Is it NC Foreplay? I
It
met you
is. I
through.
absolutely love
Yeah,
the spoken word.
yeah,
One of my business partners, we all come together to form what we call foreplaync.com. So if you're interested in erotic poetry, quite a lot like what you just heard from our special guest tonight, you're welcome to follow us online at foreplaync.com on Facebook and foreplay NC on Instagram as well.
yes. Nice. I'm looking forward to the event this Saturday. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then we're going to let everybody introduce themselves.
So again, Foreplay NC is a collaborative effort, but our originator, I don't know if any of you have heard of Church the Poet out of Durham, North Carolina. It is his birthday this weekend, so we're having an erotic poetry slam where we will have the Adams versus the Eves, and we're gonna see who comes out on top. Y'all men know we always win. So I mean, I'll go ahead and just let y'all know we're gonna win it. We're gonna take it home. The women are gonna win it this weekend. But yes, if you don't have anything to do this weekend and you are looking for something fun and erotic adult theme to get into, we will be in Durham. You can find tickets at foreplaync.com. And Miss Tiffany will be there to cover everything live. So you will see some bits and tidbits on her live feed.
Yes, ma'am, you sure will. So I'm going to be there doing a PR live. So we do live event coverage with the private room. So I'm looking forward to being there. I got to figure out what I'm going to wear, but we'll definitely be there. We're definitely going to be
I know
there.
you got
So
something
let's
sexy
go
in that
ahead
lingerie
and get.
collection.
Mm-hmm.
I know, something. I'll figure it out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I would love to start off with everybody really kind of saying, what is your lifestyle choice? So, Miss Michelle, what is your lifestyle choice for yourself, ma'am?
I guess if I had to pick a label, because so many people force me into this, I don't like labels. I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to, a person. But if I had to go with a label, I guess I would fit into the B for bisexual.
Nice. Okay. So, what about you, Miss Brittany? When would you consider yourself monogamous? Would you consider yourselves polyamorous? And we are going to talk about what these things mean. What do you consider yourself?
Yes, thank you. Because I was like, I don't even know what the second one is.
See, this is the education tonight.
It is education tonight because it's a lot of different things. I didn't even know you could to classify everything. I mean, I guess monogamous, but I'm just old school. I just like, you know what I mean? Like, I just like Adam. Like
I'm sorry. I love it.
So I say what we want to categorize that is what is it? Is there a regular term? Is there a new term for it?
Isn't it just heterosexual?
Oh yeah, but hey, it's so many different terms. It's
I'm
the
like,
norm.
I don't like the
I
label.
will say this. I will say that especially with me doing the lifestyle parties now, a good majority of the guests are monogamous, and they do, women only like Adams. But it's nothing wrong with looking. I mean, in the lifestyle, if what turns you on is to look, like every time you get ready to get it on with Adam, you want to like look at porn, or you and Adam in the mall, and Keisha walk by with a nice juicy butt, and you like, hey babe, look at
Like
that.
that. Keisha
I
got
mean,
a
okay, now
booty.
you going into you're a voyeur. You like the
Yeah.
look. So I mean, it doesn't make you polyamorous, but it definitely qualifies you for lifestyle.
Yeah,
So
I
you
would
have a
love
lot of
to
different
know the
topics
definition.
in the lifestyle and umbrellas that it fits under. So don't feel like you're just vanilla monogamous.
Yeah, I'm just a regular, I ain't got nothing
Regular,
special
regular,
going on.
regular.
Mine ain't nothing spectacular.
We won't hold it against you, Michelle. So we're
I
all
appreciate.
about,
I'm trying to
you
live
know,
by I will live vicariously, but yeah, it's nothing like, you know.
yeah. So the whole purpose of tonight is to make sure that we're able to educate people about the different lifestyle choices that couples and individuals decide to live. So when we talk about lifestyle, someone was saying, "What does that mean?" They asked me that question last week when I was at a gathering, and I'm like, "Okay, so you have monogamy, where you and your mate decide to only be with one another." Which is, monogamy. That's the traditional lifestyle that, couples choose to live their life, and that's okay. You have polyamory, which we're going to talk a little bit more with one of our guests who has a poly group. I'm going to let him expand on that here in a second. But basically, you and your spouse agree to date other people and love other people, to love freely, and that is okay as well. You also have swinging, where you and your partner, might want to have another person that you include in your bedroom. And all of these things are mutual. All of these things are mutual. So it's not, I don't, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but one person in the relationship can't be a swinger and the other one be monogamous. To me, I don't think that that's actually a way to have a relationship. Maybe you can, but I don't really know how that's going to be successful. So there's different kinds of relationships that we're going to be talking about tonight. So Miss Brittany, Miss Coco Yanni Lounge, she said, I'm monogamous. Miss Michelle, she was like, you know what? I am whatever it is I feel like being at the time being. Ben Tank, I'm bringing you on now. I want you to tell us who you are, what's your lifestyle choice, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. I am Tank. Ben Tank. Tank is fine. I am polyamorous. I have been polyamorous for a decade or so. What else did you want me to cover? I manage a polyamorous Facebook group called Poly Black and Dating. What else? What else did you want me to touch on?
Now, if you can just give us kind of, for people that have no idea what polyamory is about, give us a little education on
that. In the most basic sense, it's the ability to love and have more than one loving relationship with the knowledge and consent of everyone involved. And I've been with my wife now for 27 years. We've been polyamorous the last 10 to 12 years. We openly date and love and have relationships with other people. And there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing that. Something you said a minute ago about one partner can't be poly or a swinger and the other partner monogamous. It's actually not true. You can. And I know several people who are, several couples who are. I know couples who are one person's polyamorous, the other person's monogamous. So it's pretty much anything is possible as long as everyone has the knowledge and consent involved in it.
Well, I found in this current day, not everyone always has the knowledge and consent, but
You should.
and those are the times where you don't,
And I
where
think
you
that's
basically have
why
one person monogamous and someone
Yeah.
else polyamorous.
Yeah. And I think that's why I said what I said, is that you can't have one, not the other, because to me, that means not everybody's on the same page and not everybody knows what's going on. But then that just turns into just cheating, as far as I'm concerned. But that's just me. That's my personal opinion. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Personal preference and what it is that you decide for your relationship. Because I know, Tank, you've been married, you said over, what did you say, over 20 years? It's all been poly for a little bit over a decade. What made y'all decide to have this kind of relationship, if you don't mind sharing?
I mean, we just sort of grew here. I'm 42. I've been with my wife since I was 15. She's 40 and she's been with me since she was 13. So, we kind of started out with her exploring her sexuality. Then, we got to a point where we were, I was almost 30 and she was 28 and had never explored like sex with other people. So we explored that. And then after that, we just sort of figured out that, the lifestyle and swinging is not really a thing for us. We like loving relationships. So we just sort of grew here over time.
I love that word that you use, Tank, grew, because that's part of, I think, in my experience, what I found to be where you find success at. Because you may enter into a relationship in the very beginning stages of a relationship, knowing something about the other person that you may or may not be comfortable with. Like I've had a lot of couples that I mean, I think that's great. You guys been together since you were teens and have grown into this. But you think about people who would have met you at 30 years old and realize that you have a wife and you guys are, so you have various levels. And when you're in a relationship with someone who has a sexual viewpoint that you may not share, but you really love that person, you dig that person, and you really want to be with that person, but you guys just may not be on the same page, what you view to be fundamentally in the bedroom. So if you want to continue in that relationship, you've got to be open and you've got to grow together. And that's what I look at lifestyle as being able to grow with someone, whether that may be a short term growth or long-term growth, but being able to grow into the relationship with the two different views and trying to come together and find common ground.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. We have Damien on. Damien, tell us your lifestyle choice, if you can put a name on it.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, my name is Damian Harmon. Lifestyle choice. I can say that I'm heterosexual. Um, Definitely that part. Love women. Uh, I've dabbled in open relationships, the poly lifestyle for maybe like the last 5 years or so. Um, and I'm kind of, I flow, you know what I mean? So it truly just depends on the person that I'm with. That kind of determines where we go as far as relationship wise. Like I said, I've been in a poly relationship, a open relationship. I've been in a monogamous relationship. So it truly just depends on the space that I'm in and that we're in at that particular time. But that's just me. I'm pretty sure that doesn't rock everybody's boat, or that's not everybody's flow. And I'm well aware of that. So, it comes along, over the years, it just comes along with the level of self awareness, and understanding who you are, and being able to communicate that effectively. I think someone mentioned that about the communication aspect of it. That's one of the foundational items that needs to be in every relationship, but more specifically, a poly type of relationship, or if you engage with same sex or what have you. I think that's very important. I think that kind of sums me up overall.
Yes, I agree. I think that if you um, are open to different types of relationships, that depending on who your partner is, then that sometimes can change. I know you have people that are pretty consistent with the way they live their lifestyles, but if you are single and you are dating a different person, you might decide that you want to be monogamous. You might decide that you want to try an open relationship, so forth and so on. So that's a really good point of just kind of knowing who your partner is and what kind of, what kind of relationship y'all want to have as a couple and whoever it is you're with at the time. Good point. I like that. Miss Sabrina, introduce yourself and tell us what's your lifestyle choice.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. So my lifestyle choice, I would say, is just happy and free. But if we would have to label it, it would definitely toggle back and forth between monogamous and polyamorous, depending on who I'm with, just to kind of cap off on what he said. Because I'm actually married, and my husband is monogamous, so I'm polygamous. I'm a polygamist, sorry, and he's a monogamist, and so I have to respect his views about that as well. And it's kind of something, a lot of it has to do with comfortability and trust. So I can't just, be free to do whatever I want at this moment in time, and I respect his choice about that. We have talked about it, and we have even went as far as searching for another to add to our relationship. Some things happen, so we're not at that moment yet. We're working on building that trust, which is such a huge thing for that. To me, well, for everybody, polygamy is different. There's a different reason for everybody of why, they're in that lifestyle. For me, a lot of it is security and sense of community. I grew up as a single child with my mom, and I didn't really have a big family that lived close. I didn't really have a lot of friends. I was like this nerdy girl that was very alone for most of my life. So when you have a traditional polygamist family, you have all these people to confide in. You have this big family that is your own. You have these children, that they might have not been born from your body, but you treat them as such. And then the security aspect of it, for me, I have health issues, and some of them will eventually lead to my death. And so I have children, and the security for me there is that if something were to happen to me, well, I want my children to have a mother. And so when you have, I don't want to dive into like sister wives on TLC, but when you have backup mothers and sister wives like that, they kind of know the way you parent. They understand your parenting guidelines, and they're there for you, or they should be anyways, to respect those boundaries. And they still have your children, if something were to happen, would still have this community around them. So that's where it sits for me.
Nice. And that's another good perspective, is just knowing that, you have this communication with your mate, and being able to also respect your mate and what their needs are, because what your needs are could be different from your mate. Just like, with my husband and I, my needs might be different from his at times, but then I also realize that he has needs too. And just really respecting that and talking about it and having open conversation about it. So that's, definitely. Thank you for bringing that in. To that. No, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I just want to point out, for the longest time, I was strictly monogamous. So it was just me, and then my choice would be men. And that would be it. Me and my boyfriend, or me and my husband, and that's it. For the longest time. And then I kind of started growing up, growing with the years, and I kind of looked around, and I was, I would say, even when I was dating before my husband, monogamy seemed like such a myth, because I would date these guys, and I would be in such like a long-term relationship, and then I would find out, he's cheating, or just, so many things. And it's like, monogamy was such a myth to me at that point, because it was like, well, basically what's happening is swinging or polygamy that's not consensual. So I was like, why is it so taboo or strange to just come out and say, well, I'm a polygamist? it's not that common. I mean, it's almost like, I wouldn't say we would have to hide ourselves, but it's like we don't go out into the mall and we're like, hey, I'm a polygamist, you know. I mean, it's just not common. And I wish it was more common, because on the down low, people really are, you know, out there. You have cheating people in relationships that are out there seeking people. And you know, if you would have two of the people in the relationship coming to one term and realizing, well, we love each other, but why don't we, you know, add another person in the relationship that we both agree on, or do something like that, then for some people maybe it wouldn't be as stressful as, you know, cheating or something like that, because you would both come to terms with it. When me and my husband were when he had agreed, okay, well, let's go, maybe we'll find somebody, we actually did. We found a couple that we really enjoyed, but the other female in the relationship just wasn't feeling it, and I could tell, and I wasn't comfortable with that, like her not being so comfortable with me. And that kind of died down. But my husband was like, you know, it's just his issue is jealousy, which I understand, because it's not for everybody. But jealousy really can't be a thing in a functioning polygamous lifestyle. So
Yeah, that's a
I
good
think
point.
that's
That's a
wrong
very
though.
good
I think
point.
that jealousy can be a thing, but it has to be communicated and embraced.
yes,
I mean,
yeah,
it
I
kind
would
of
agree
goes
with
back
that.
to that comment, like I was saying about you being in public and being like, "Hey, boo, look at her butt." Like
Yeah, see,
you have to be able to comfortably say
right.
to your lover, "Hey, I'm jealous when you do this," and your lover
Yeah,
has to be able to comfortably say, "I get it that you're jealous, but you know, you have to be able to talk through it, even
you
something
do.
like jealousy." You
You
know.
do. And it's funny because we always, in my relationship, we always joke around because I'm the first one. I am the first one in public to be like, ooh, she's got some nice breasts. Or like, look at her butt. Like, you know, and he looks at me like, and I was like, what? You don't see it? Like, look at that. And he's like, you're worse than a guy. And I was like, well, you know, she's beautiful, you know, and we always joke around like that. But see, the second that I'm like, he looks good, he's like, you know, and I'm like, well, see, and then there's your pushing the boundaries. So I tend to not do that as much, but you know, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
And we're going to come back to that, Sabrina, because I've found that when it comes to being polyamorous or swinging or open relationship, whatever you want to call it, that, and this is just, again, this is my experience, that the guys are okay when it's another female, but they're not okay when it's another man. And so, you know, that's a whole nother communication. That's a whole nother subject to talk about. Some men are perfectly fine with it. Like, you know, Tank, I know that he's
Yeah.
perfectly fine with his, you know, his wife.
Nope, I think we froze.
I think what she was trying to say is that Tank is fine, you know, with his
Yeah.
wife being in
Yeah.
a room or approached with another guy. So,
Yeah,
but I think there's levels to that too, because he has to be respectful of you, right, Tank? So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like you have a lot of couples
Right.
that like are open to the opposite sex being around, but that person has to respect
Yes.
you know, the person in the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my moments where I've had challenges with it or challenges with jealousy. But those are things that can be worked on and cultivated, and you can grow through those things.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing, Tank, because as an advocacy for polyamorous life and lifestyle, um, I think that it's sometimes hard, like she said, as a swinger or polyamorous, to get out and say, "Hey, this is what I am, and I'm comfortable with this," because people look at it like, you know, they shun down upon being open, but I think that's the solution to it. If we can be a little more open, you know, and being able to say, like Tank did, "Hey, I'm comfortable with this. I might not be comfortable with every guy, you know, but I'm comfortable with this
Yeah,
guy because we click, you know, whatever." Um, but I think it's cool because everybody have a different level of privacy.
yeah. I
Have
mean,
you ever heard that phrase where you're like, "It's not a secret, but it's not your business"?
sure.
Yes.
But yeah, in my dynamic though, I pretty much she's a grown up, so it's her choices. So whomever she likes or loves, that's her business. Um, I don't put any restrictions or limitations on that. That's her choice, and she's a grown up.
That's nice, but I think it also comes with some trust, right, Tank? Like
Mm-hmm.
you trust her not to like bring someone into your home that might rob, steal, or kill.
I
Those
mean,
type of things, right?
she chose me, so her choices are good.
Well, and I see Tiffany have dropped off. I'll go ahead as co-host of the call and just kind of keep things rolling. I think it's one person on the call that didn't get to share what their lifestyle was, right?
I think it's Pastor J.
Was it Pastor Jay? Go ahead and
Yeah.
tell us what's going on with you, Pastor Jay.
Well, I've been listening. I am very monogamous, heterosexual. Um, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. As I was saying, very monogamous, heterosexual. Um, After listening to everybody, I know everybody has their own, particular ways or lifestyles that they do choose. Me personally, I do believe that you have to have communication between your partner, whether you're dating, whether you're married, in that sense, and not just which I'm pretty sure Tiffany, I'll be able to talk about why I'm really on here tonight off of what I actually wrote and actually putting out there what some things that are taboo and some people don't actually talk about. But you want to make sure that each person is happy, that you don't be selfish or think it's all about you, and if you can't come to terms together, you can't say, hey, this is what we both want. You don't want to be like, well, it turns into cheating or it turns into adultery or it turns into something totally different if there's no communication there. So, me personally, I do think that even before you get into a relationship or before you even get married, make sure that you have that conversation. It's nothing wrong with having a conversation to say, hey, what do you feel? What if those things do change down the road? Is this something that we do want? Is it something that you do particularly, are you looking into? Have you been in this before? Some people may never been in that before, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I did this, so we should do it. So it's things can change, people grow. People's, mindsets change. They're not young. Some people get older and they're just like, I need something different, or they may get bored. So there's different factors, but I think overall there needs to have communication um, all the way around the board with anyone regardless of race, regardless of lifestyle, sexuality, whatever. It just needs to have communication somewhere down the road.
I totally agree. I think the communication and like you said, being an adult, I think my man Tank down here mentioned that too about being an adult. Like you're monogamous. That's what you want. So if you meet a woman, even if you find her to be attractive and she tells you she's into polyamory, it's an adult decision, for the both of you all now to make. Um, so I see Tiffany. I picked up where you off, girl. I went around, tried to pull
Thank
it
you.
together.
I appreciate that.
Well, you're back now, so we'll let you have the floor.
No, that's the benefits of having a co-host, so especially a sexy one like you, Miss Michelle. You want to keep them
Oh,
engaged. All right. So, Jay, did you get a chance to introduce yourself?
I did right before you came back on. I just finished, but yeah, I'm Jay.
he was telling us how monogamous he is, girl.
I think I'm frozen.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with monogamy. I think and everything starts with when you're doing a science project, you have some variables, some things to control the situation. And monogamy is just one of those variables I think that help control what's going on. So I don't think like I'm teasing you, Jay, about being monogamous. I don't think that monogamy at all can be boring, and I think that when we're an adult and we communicate, you can actually have a pretty exciting monogamous love life. I mean, And I think that, the great thing about the lifestyle parties that I create when I do host those parties is that I welcome everyone into those parties, even monogamous guests. And that creates a mature, grown atmosphere. I mean, you may come to the party monogamous and you may leave the party feeling like, well, am I really monogamous?
By curious.
I really enjoyed
You might
that.
leave by curious.
Okay. So, I mean, I think you need all variables. And I think it's great, to have some monogamous and some monogamy in the room as well. I don't know, Tiffany.
She froze again.
Yeah, I can't get her. So,
Yeah,
Pastor,
I'm having issues on my end, Michelle. So you can just carry it because I'm having issues over here, look, baby.
right. And we only have about 10 minutes left of the podcast. So I want to make sure that I do let Pastor Jay. You said you wanted to let us know why you were here. So go ahead and let us know.
Yes.
Okay. From my understanding, Miss Tiffany asked me to highlight the business that I do have. I am the owner of King J Leon Entertainment. Outside of ministry,
Jay, are you
I
there?
do. Yes. Can you hear me? Can
I
everybody
can
hear
hear
me?
it.
Yeah, we can hear you good. I think Tiffany may be having some technical issues, but we can hear
Oh,
you well.
okay. Outside of ministry, I do have an entertainment company where I do write stage plays, web series. We have a model company as well, some different literature. I do photography. So I do a whole lot outside of just church per se. Recently, I just launched a web series called My Name is Deception, which does goes around polygamy, polyamorous lifestyle as well. But the route I'm taking it is to where the guy wants to have another relationship because he became bored with his wife. And so, in that sense, it does turn into a whole different way of being, where the girlfriend is now actually wants to just be monogamous and not be in the polyamorous or polygamous relationship. So it does start turning for the worse in that sense. But my whole thing of writing, um, which I kind of do on the a different spectrum outside of ministry, is just talk about things that are actually relevant, today, and some people do want to bring other people into the bedroom. Some people do want to bring other people into relationships, and we don't really talk about it like we should, or it becomes quiet or silent. And there are some people actually suffering where they will give their mate whatever they want and do whatever they want to do, and at the end of the day, sitting home unhappy, sad, crying, depressed, trying to figure out how do I get out from this, how do I go back from this, and and if there's no communication, or if we leave our partner out, or not think about their feelings, it can mess up a whole lot along the way. So this is just kind of a sense of it's called My Name of Deception, of how things could deceive you. Somebody's being deceived somewhere down the road, in all different aspects. And as long as it's there and there's no one trying to handle the situation, it can be detrimental. It can be detrimental to your health, to your mental, to your love, to your heart. People can close up and clam up and like, I don't want to be with anybody because I don't trust anyone. So, so that's just kind of what it is. Called My Name is Deception. It's out on YouTube. We have 2 episodes out now. King J Leon Entertainment, in that particular platform. So yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. When we get off of this chat room, I'm definitely gonna go look you up because I totally agree with that. I don't like to share a lot of my personal business because I feel like it is a fine line between business and personal, especially with what I do and what I sell. But I did resonate. A lot of what you said resonated with me. So I will definitely take the time to find you after this podcast. And I hope that everyone here will take the opportunity as we have connected on the Private Room podcast to find each other on social so that we can continue these conversations and nurture these relationships that we have built in this last hour.
Yes, and I wanted to also pick Damien's brain as well, because he actually is a therapist as well. And so I wanted to get kind of your perspective about when you are working with couples, do you see that lifestyle choices and the way the different people in the relationships, that sometimes what they want versus what the mate wants, sometimes will start to have the conversations about lifestyle choices? Do you see that when you're working with couples, Damien?
Yeah, definitely from an individual perspective as well as couples. The couples that I do see that are struggling, you know, marital issues, just relationship issues, even just interpersonal issues, unresolved, trauma, unresolved grief, unresolved, just relational issues overall. That's usually one of the biggest things. And the first option they usually go to is, okay, well, let's try to bring someone in, or let's try this alternative lifestyle, which usually sets them up for failure for the most part, because it's usually coming from a place of trying to fill a void in a relationship versus you coming as whole as you possibly can in a relationship and bringing that wholeness and that fullness to the other person. I always tell my clients that it's important that you do the individual work prior to engaging in alternative lifestyles. If that's not your lifestyle of choice coming in, if you're already open and you're, whatever classification that you may have, that you're bringing to the relationship, that's something that you're coming with.
I love it.
Versus saying, okay, well, my husband doesn't find me attractive, so maybe I should bring in another woman that'll make me look more attractive to him and we can spend more time, which is a recipe for disaster in a sense, because that's more so something that you're dealing with as an individual versus it being relationship issues.
Can
So,
I say, can I interrupt that?
yeah,
That just to
absolutely.
add on to that, because we were talking about it earlier. I think that same thing you just said also goes along with the scenario of the man who is boring, so he just wants to add in another girl because he thinks that might spice it up. That's not going to
Right.
make you less boring with your wife because you added a third. So it's a recipe
Absolutely.
for disaster, especially
Absolutely.
if she doesn't find that to hype up the relationship as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's important that we, have those ongoing conversations, like Jay said, that it could affect your mental health. You're thinking that, okay, this is going to spice it up, but then when you have these unresolved issues, and your partner has a real bad jealousy type of tendencies, and they may go ham on you or something. They say, okay, yeah, we want to do this, they want to do that, and then all of a sudden, you guys are interacting with other couples, other individuals, and then they fly off the handle. Then you got a whole, first 48 type of situation, or a snap situation, and we don't want that. So it's important that we address, like I said, from the jump. Communication is key, and you have to be vulnerable and transparent in those conversations, not because, oh, I think Johnny will want to hear me say this, or I will love that, Susie, sees that I'm allowing her to engage with other men. If that's not your cup of tea, you have to be able to express that. And I think that will enhance relationships, to have those open, vulnerable, transparent conversations, and reduce that, that divorce rate, because it's right now it's probably above 50%. So a lot of that comes from the individual themselves not doing that actual work prior to getting into these relationships. You go from one relationship to another relationship, and you're thinking, maybe I should change who I am to adapt to everyone else versus everyone else adapting to me.
Right. Good point. Tank, with you and your wife being polyamorous for over 10 years, what is the best advice that you can give to couples who are thinking about trying a polyamory lifestyle? And the same with you, Sabrina. What because both of you are married, what are your suggestions to someone who might be interested in opening their relationship and maybe dating other people? What would be your advice to someone who's thinking about it?
You're muted, Tank.
Yes, you are.
One thing I wanted to say, sort of this whole time, is I consider my I consider mine is a love style instead of a lifestyle.
Oh,
It's the way that I love. Um, and then second, from your question about my advice is that have great communication, um, be very open minded, sort of release some of your expectations or the things that you've been conditioned to believe in, and be a little bit more open minded. And then sort of allow each other the room to grow, because you're never going to be the same. You're going to constantly be growing, and when you grow, your desires, your interests, everything sort of changes. So leaving each other space to be your authentic self, and creating sort of a safe space for each other to be your authentic self is really important.
Yeah, that's really important. The communication is so important, but then also just being true to who you are and being able to communicate that to your mate. Miss Sabrina.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi. So basically everything he said was to the T. My biggest advice would be talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Don't just dive in because it's hot or it's sexy. I mean, it can be, but don't dive into something you're unsure with. Talk through it with each other for a couple of months, I would say. Make sure that, both of you are on the same level of confidence in each other, and confidence within yourselves. Because if you go into it, right, feeling low confidence about the way you look or about how you love, when you add a third in there, it's going to just become messy because you're going to be thinking the entire time. One, you're going to be feeling guilt because you agreed to let this third person in, but now you're the one that's feeling bad about it. Then you're going to feel, well, maybe say it was my case, like, well, does he like this other female more? Does she turn him on more? Is he spending more time with her? Is he doing things with her that he wouldn't be doing with me? So like I said, if you go into it kind of unsure or unconfident, these things are going to arise and potentially take what could be a beautiful thing, and destroy it. So talk about it. Biggest thing, comfortability. Everybody has to have their boundaries laid out. You have to communicate those things really, really well. If one's not comfortable with something and the other two are doing something, it's just kind of going to be like, well, in an essential way, if you bring it to the next step, it's sort of like an illegal marriage in a way. This is if you go through all the way with polygamy, traditionally. If you add like sister wives to this, well, then, in a type of way, it's like a marriage and you're joined like a marriage. So if one of the people in the marriage is not comfortable, it's not going to be wonderful for everybody, because then, their sadness is going to take its toll on everybody in the relationship. So you have to have this balance, and that's key to it, really. Of course, there's the sexual aspects, but you have to start with your steps in the beginning before you get to the sexual process, really, or you'll never get there. So it's not for everybody, it's not. Some people have this idea, but they don't know if they should act on it because they're unsure. And like I said, just take time, take the time to really think about it and discuss it with your lover, before you, dive deep.
yeah. And I just want to add on to that. What she's saying is like, you got to realize that people in monogamous relationships have issues. So of course, you got to give yourself some room to be human. You're going to have some trial and error, some failed situations. I mean, you got to know that we're all human. So if you tried it one time and it didn't work, That doesn't mean
Yeah.
it might not work another time. I heard you say that you and your husband had a situation where the other
Oh
couple, the
yeah.
man was saying, but the woman was not, right?
Yeah.
And that's,
No. And
that's right.
there
But
was boundaries getting mixed because the boundaries were so essentially we hadn't met in person yet because both parties had children. And so we were kind of like, well, I don't want to bring our children into this until we know it's something set in stone. You never want to do that, for even a monogamous relationship.
right.
So we essentially were had like a group chat. It was the four of us. And the reason it was the four of us rather than adding just an extra female at that moment was so that my husband can kind of get a feel of what it's like, so that he's like, there's a partner for everybody. So it's not just focusing on this or that. I was fine with it. We talked about it. We picked this couple out together. But in this group chat that we had, so we had rules, we had boundaries. We only speak with each other in this group chat so that all four of us can see what we're saying and can all feel a part of it. No secrets, no hiding. Well, the other male, started to PM me on the side. And my husband was with me, so he's like, what is he saying? And I was like, he started saying some sexual things and stuff like that. And I immediately was like, I prefer not to speak about this. If you'd like to speak this way, please do it in the group chat so that everybody's on board. This is kind of secretive and slimy to me in a way. And he just continued. And I mean, I essentially had to block him at one point. And then, of course, his girlfriend or his wife, I don't remember exactly what she was, but I believe it was his wife, was obviously uncomfortable with this. And it turned into it's a me thing, because I'm the one he's speaking to. And I would never want to do that to anybody or make anybody feel that way. So it kind of got a little messy. It has. But, I mean, it's like I said, it's communication. And obviously that wasn't something I believe that couple really had.
Well, I love it that you didn't let that discourage you, and it looks like
No.
you're very optimistic to find
Yeah.
someone to fit your lifestyle choice. So.
I mean, yeah,
And that goes back to what Tank was saying about, everybody being on the same accord and everybody understanding what it is that the relationship is supposed to be or it's going to be, and everybody being on the same page.
Yes.
I know that we've gone over a little bit, but I just need to ask this question because Michelle, you're currently single. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I know Damien is as well. Is that correct? I don't want to assume anything. Yep. Okay. So how do you have this conversation? So you meet someone, you're dating them, you like them. How do you have the conversation of this is what kind of relationship I like, or this is kind of what my needs are? How do you approach that conversation as a single person dating a new person?
Well, I can just say, I think Damien said it too when we were talking about what we are. I mean, I can say I'm polyamorous, but I can also tell you that I'm very open to being monogamous. It's really about the person, and it's really about, about me too. And it's about being an adult and communicating. I was in a 10-year relationship. We were polyamorous. We had our rules, like I said, I don't so much like to talk so much about my personal things because I have a business and I never want my personal decisions to affect my clients and what they decide to do or products they decide to purchase.
Right.
But I can say from experience, and this is new territory for me. I hadn't been single in 10 years until last October. So It's been almost a year now of me being single, and I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know myself again and getting to know my comfortability with dating and letting other people in my personal space, and then getting comfortable with being able to talk about, my sexual preferences or my relationship preferences. I didn't have to do that for 10 years. I had someone who knew me, who knew what I liked, who was comfortable with me, letting me be myself. Now that I don't have that going on, I'm learning, Tiffany, to answer that. I'm learning how to disclose that in a mature way, that I don't run somebody off where they're like, oh, pineapples. You know? But also, I want to be honest, because I don't want to get into this situation where I'm kicking it and vibing with somebody and it's good, and then 6 months down the road they got to meet me again. You know,
Right. Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's. I think you hit the nail on the head as far as being single. Like, I truly have that. I don't give a fuck type of mentality in a sense. I'm going to tell you where I'm at, and if we vibe and we align in that moment, then cool. If you don't, like, it's cool too. Like, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with being a 43-year-old, man, by myself, and being on my grind, and getting to the bag. You know what I'm saying? So it really just depends on where you are in life, and if that person is with you in that moment, because that's the only thing that's consistent in life is change. I may not be this way a year from now or 6 months from now, but right now, where I'm at, I'm able to express that wholeheartedly, unapologetically. But I mean, I'm nice about it. I'm not disrespectful at all, and I'm not a whore. At the same time, I'm not here thotting everywhere, but at the same time, I have that space and opportunity to do that and be that if I want to be. It's just too much time to be trying to juggle, any and everybody all the time. So it is really about self awareness and being okay with where you are. Like you said, you just got divorced, a year ago, or separated from your relationship, of 10 years for a year. Sometimes it takes that amount of time just to rediscover who you are, because sometimes when we in relationships, we lose who we are within those relationships. So we have
yeah.
to, kind of reclaim that time and
Oh my
rediscover who we are in in this moment.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
it's so
I
true,
think that's very
Damien.
important.
That
Say
is
that one
so
more
true.
time.
I mean, it's so true. I have so many of my friends who, I mean, and a lot of people who met me because I was very open about my relationship, and they're asking now like questions like, "Well, what are you now, and how's that going for you?" And and it's new territory for me. It's been 1 year opposed to 10 years in a relationship, so it's hard for me. Some days I wake up and I'm still in the mindset that I have to answer to somebody else. So I don't have to do that now. So it's up to me if I want to disclose to you that I like females or not. you know. So I'm still learning, and I'm still growing, and I'm enjoying it. I would never jump back into a relationship so soon after being in one for 10 years, simply because I need to get to know me again. I don't think it's fair to the next person to try to embrace a me that I don't even know. So we'll see how it
Right.
goes, Tiffany.
And it's automatic. It's this automatic assumption when you're single, like it's like you're alone. Like it doesn't always have to be a physical thing. You can enjoy someone's company from an emotional standpoint, from an alignment standpoint, and it never gets physical. I can be intimate with you and not be physical. It could be
Intimacy
more so
is
of a,
not
Right.
purely physical. That
yes,
is absolutely
absolutely,
correct. Intimacy is not purely physical. And
absolutely.
I mean,
Very good
that's
point.
where
Very good point. Well, I can say, yeah, I can say from coming from being single for a few years and then getting with someone who had no idea what none of this was. Like I see Brittany, she's taking it all in. She's taking it all in. So going from being single and trying different things, because I realized that my who I am, I can love multiple people and be okay with that. But then to be able to open myself up to talk to someone about that is not always easy. But then introducing someone to what it is that you like and kind of your kinks, if you have them, your different relationship styles can be really exciting, but it can also be something that can make or break whatever the future of that relationship is. So definitely like that we have different perspectives on tonight with, being married, being single, just getting out of relationship, being divorced, so forth and so on. So everyone had some pretty amazing feedback, some really, really good feedback and good advice and good ways of going about, talking about the different lifestyles that you may choose. And again, I think everyone said it's not for everyone. You might just be a monogamous person. You might be able to love multiple people. You might be able to have intercourse with multiple people and still have a successful relationship. It is possible. And I think for those people that really don't understand that there are different lifestyles or are closed-minded to it, have to understand that what Tank decides with him and his wife is him and his wife's decision. What I decide to do with my husband is my decision. What Sabrina decides to do with her husband is her decision, and everybody should be respectful of that because there are different ways of loving one another, whether it's monogamous, polyamory, swinging, whatever it is you wanna call it. I want to, before we go, I want to make sure that everyone is able to connect with everyone. I know we have a lot of business owners on here as well. And then we're going to play the trailer for Jay's movie so that everybody can get a taste of what they can have in store for that. So Miss Michelle, tell everyone how can we reach you? And we're just going to do kind of a round robin. And then we're going to watch together the trailer for Jay's movie.
So you can find me on Instagram at Michelle's Toy Box. You can find me on Facebook, Michelle Parson. Also, we have a Facebook group called foreplayNC.com. And you can also find me on Instagram at foreplayNC.
Nice. Miss Brittany, tell everybody how they can.
Sorry, Michelle, I was trying to find out, is it foreplay like the number 4 or is it?
Yeah, so you're going to put in the number 4 and then play in like foreplayNC.com on Facebook. And it's a Facebook group. And then, of course, on Instagram, it's just 4, like the number 4, play NC. And then Michelle's Toy Box.
Yeah. And Miss Brittany, you definitely should come out on Saturday. I'm inviting everybody out. I'll share the information on the post. The event is going to be amazing. Again, we're going to be celebrating Church's birthday. It's going to be a sexy night. So definitely, if y'all are in the Durham area or you can make it to the Durham area this Saturday, come see myself, Michelle, and Church and come have a sexy time. Miss Brittany, tell everyone how they can find you and how they can get that B-Steam, girlfriend.
That B-Steam. Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Coco Yoni Lounge, and that's COCOYONI Lounge.
Thank you, baby. Miss Sabrina, how can people find you if they want to talk more?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle would be It's Sabrina, with 3 A's in the first. So it's like It's SAAABRINA.
Not sure if you're still talking, Sabrina, or not. I'm frozen over here. Is she still talking?
Can you hear me now?
We heard you.
Oh,
okay. I can hear you there. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
All right, nice. Tank, tell everybody how they can find you and possibly your group. I know you have a big event coming up during Halloween, which is Halloween amazing. That's like one of the best experiences I've ever had, ever.
Yep.
Ever.
So
I tell you, it's Halloween. So, Tank, tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook as Ben Tank. It's BEEN Tank. And it's because I've been Tank my whole life. It's been my nickname since I was 2. So I've been Tank my whole life. Because I was 2 days old. So you can find me on Facebook as Ben Tank. You can find my polyamorous Black dating group on Facebook. It's called Poly Black and Dating. And we also have an Instagram called Poly Black and Dating. In October, the 3rd week Starting the third Thursday in October, my group will be hosting Polyween, which we've hosted every year since 2016, minus the pandemic years. And it's a 4-day weekend of 300 plus Black and polyamorous people, and we have a great time partying, um, getting to know each other, and just hanging out for 4 days of fun. And it's exhausting. Take Monday off if you do it. If you come.
Yes, Cedric and I went a couple years ago pre-COVID, and till this day, I think that's probably one of the best weekends we've had as a couple, and just getting to know other couples, other singles is coming to Halloween. So definitely recommend that if you're interested in the polyamorous lifestyle, reach out to Tank. He is very open to your questions, not saying that he's going to be a mentor or a teacher, but definitely is someone that you can openly talk to. I know that Cedric talked to you a lot about, the lifestyle and so forth. So I really appreciate you being able to be there and be a friend to Cedric, as he had some questions, just kind of wanted to know what the polyamorous lifestyle was like. So
Absolutely.
he said, and tell your wifey, hey.
I will. I will.
Nice. Davian, tell everybody how they can reach you.
Me being an entrepreneur, I got several platforms in a sense. But I'll just give you DamianHarmon.com. That's more my professional side as far as the therapy piece and speaking and mental health advocacy. You can find me on Facebook at Damian Harmon. That's my professional page. My regular page is Damien Dash. You can find me on Instagram at Not Your Average Therapist. You can find me pretty much everywhere. What they say, Google me. If you Google me, it'll pull up everything. But DamianHarmon.com is kind of like your first stop for everything that I do, from mental health all the way down to photography.
Yes. And if you've seen my photos the last 30 days, I've been tagging Damien all month because he did my last branding shoot. He's a phenomenal photographer. He is an exceptional therapist. So if you are a couple, even individual, and you're looking for a good therapist, definitely reach out to Damien. You can't go wrong. And now for Jay. Jay, we're going to watch your trailer together to close us out for the night. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. And this is the trailer for Jay's movie. If I can share my screen. There we go, share screen. All right, here we go. there you have it. So Jay, please tell everybody how we can watch episode 1 and 2.
So you can go on King J Leone Entertainment. It's Lion with apostrophe between the I and the O on YouTube, and it will pull both episodes up. We are starting to do episode 2 and 3, but it'll come out next month. So, but we're excited. Shout out to great videographer Mike Ivory, as well as just putting this together, as well as to the phenomenal actors and actresses that have help bring the vision to life and tell a story and hopefully help somebody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on tonight. Jay Anchorin, Miss Sabrina, Mr. Damien, Michelle, my co-hosts, Brittany, and Patricia, as well as Tank. Thank you, everybody, for your time, and we will see you next Monday on The Private Room. Have a good